Welcome back to Education 3000. And I am Noemi Paimal, the founder of Education 3000. I welcome you. And hello, David.
Hi, Naomi. How are you?
All okay.
Nice. I'm David Fegan, the International English Program Coordinator at Education 3000. This is video number 7 in our series of 25 videos, our first series of 25 videos, co-recreating education. What are we going to look at today or in this video, Naomi?
We're going to discuss how the brain is processing information and now how the brain has a positive circuit or a negative one. And this is extremely important for you, parents, teachers, therapists as well, to understand the circuit because we can make a kid or student flourish, or sometimes we can cut off all the wings and I won't say destroy his life or her life, but really have some neurological damage. So we have to be careful. And it's fun. Yeah, we will see why. I think I have some image. Yeah, I do. Right here. Can you see my screen? Or
Very
our
clearly.
screen, I
Uh-huh.
should say. It's called PSL, Positive Stimulation Circuit for Learning. Have you heard about that, Dave?
I've heard a little bit, but I, like our viewers, I think we want to know a little bit more. And it's also tying into what we looked at in the last video a little bit. So very interesting stuff. I'm excited to know a little bit more. So
And it's a base of neuroscience and neuro education. And the opposite of the positive circuit will be, of course, the NSL, negative stimulation circuit for learning. We will see both today, so we know what to do and not to do. And it has something to do with, again, the famous frontal lobe, as well called fourth brain, and the goal of education, and I would say the evolution of the human being. I am an anthropologist. I don't know if I told you. So I like the anthropological point of view. And the goal as in evolution in the humanity is to wake up or to activate this part of the brain. That's why it's called fourth brain, which is not really exist, but it's an activation of the frontal lobe. Very important. And it would end up or it will lead to the lateral thinking concept. So it's extremely important. So this is a long explanation. Do you want to help us with that?
sure. So if the information is multisensory and motivating, so an example, it awakens the desire to achieve and be creative, then our brain perceives that the situation is of low stress and no risk. So the this word, how do we say this word?
Amygdala. It's
The
not the
amygdala.
amygdala from the throat. It's amygdala from the fear. I mean, in the back of the brain, and it's linked
Mhm.
to the fear process.
Nice. So going back, if the information is multisensory and motivating, sorry, our brain perceives that the situation is of low stress and no risk. So the amygdala and the reticular activating system, the RAS, are not alarmed. Then the positive stimulation circuit connects to the frontal lobe and the neurotransmitter, and this is another difficult word, the acetylcholine, that's it, the
Yeah.
acetylcholine, I got it,
That's
stimulates
why I
the
asked you to
attention.
read.
The
I'm
acetylcholine.
so bad, sorry.
So this neurotransmitter stimulates the attentional focus of the frontal lobe.
Yeah,
So this is a positive thing
this is
that
a
we're looking at here.
positive. And the nice thing is that
The neurotransmitter dopamine is released, so pleasant experience, self reward, and it allows long term memory, altruism, and creativity.
this is exactly what we want, and satisfaction. And then as you feel good because of the dopamine, you want to learn more, and it's another circle, and it's a beautiful retroalimenting circuit, you see, and sustainable. Maybe a picture would help, right? They always say a picture
Definitely.
is better than 1,000 words.
Uh-huh.
So we go back here with number one. We are done the picture down low. And the story goes like that. And that's the whole circuit. That's why we had all these arrows. If the information is based on novelty, wow, do you know something? Curiosity, like we are going to learn something new. And it's multi-sensory. All the senses are involved. We can see a movie, then we can do a project, and then we can even taste something, and then we can listen, and then we can use all the senses. And some people say we have more than five senses, so we will see that later on. If there is a lot of motivation and self-motivation, you do your own project or you build up your own curricula, and a lot of creativity, you allow all that, then we go to number two. We are here. And we go to a very important part of the body. It's behind. It's basically the reptilian brain, this famous reticular system. And the amygdala, it's a part of the stem here, and the reptilian brain. There's a very old brain, and it's a brain of stress and the brain of survival. So this brain will say, oh, danger, 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 and it will be, no, in that case, it will say no danger, no danger. And they say, okay, we relax and we let the information go. It's like the policeman, no, you can go, or the immigration people. So let the information go because there is no stress, no danger, we are fine. Very important. No stress, no fear. No threatening. And then the information will go to the old brain and ting, ting, ting. It will go through this famous neurotransmitter, your favorite word, acetylcholine. It will go to the front brain. We will have the release of dopamine, which is another neurotransmitter. And this dopamine is the neurotransmitter of satisfaction, is very pleasant. You have a deep learning, you have a long-term memory, and this is a self-reward. So automatically you feel good and you want to learn more. You don't have to artificially motivate the student or yourself. That makes sense? Do you understand the whole circuit? And then
Yep,
again, you have
perfectly
more
clear.
information, you look for more information, you use all your senses, and you do a lot of sport as well, and you feel good, and you go, and more information. And it's a loop, ascending loop, of course, like a spiral.
So
Is it clear
positive,
so far, dear Dave?
yep. So like a positive loop that reinforces itself the more you do it, right?
Yes, it will reinforce itself. So for the teachers or for the parents, it's like you don't have to do that much. You see, just make sure your information is based on novelty, multisensory, motivation, and creativity. So now many teachers and many parents do it intuitively, but now it's reinforced by neuroscience. We know why and how it works. And I think it's fantastic. The opposite is kind of sad. See at this, can you see this picture?
Yeah, the negative stimulation circuit for learning, so the NSL. And if we look at what kind of information is going in, Naomi?
Let's say it's boring, it's repetitive, blah, blah, blah. We saw it yesterday and the day before. It's monosensory. Only listen to a voice, blah, 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 for instance. And zero motivation. So we start a disaster. Look, from number one, we go, everything is gray, it's not interesting. And here we have the policeman. Remember the famous reticular system or active and amygdala? That's why it's called. Actually, in English, it's not SAR, it's AAR. It doesn't matter. So this alarm system is on. High stress, we are at risk. It's not pleasant. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. And so it goes beep, 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 and it will block. The body will be stressed. The muscle will be tensed. Sometimes your tummy hurts. Sometimes your heart will beat faster, or you can sweat a little bit. Even physically, you don't feel good. And the whole muscle are tense, especially the calves, because you want to go away. You want to flee. That's why some exercise is just to stretch the calves, for instance. Anyhow, When we got to that point, look what happened. The information doesn't go through, so the positive circuit is blocked. We can't go to the frontal lobe. This positive stimulation is inhibited. And instead of our nice acetylcholine, we have the stress neurotransmitters, the one we don't want, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and they are released and they are the one who cuts the entire circuit. So of course it doesn't go, we don't arrive to the frontal lobe. There is no self-reward and no interesting satisfaction, disaster. And no short-term memory. When we don't remember things, we are blocked. You see? So you don't want to go back and you don't have the loop and you don't feel good. In other words, it's a disaster.
Yeah, maybe some of our
really
viewers
don't want
could.
that.
Yeah, we really don't want that. So sorry to cut you off there, Naomi. Maybe some of our viewers as well can remember where maybe this process happened to them at school, and here's the explanation.
And if we put fear on the top of all, this is double locked. That's why no fear, no stress. I mean, we have to reverse completely this educational culture based on fear and competition and no, we want the child to blossom and be happy, and the society to blossom and be happy. So we made a little summary. What we don't want.
Yeah, so we can see the children have to be still. That's negative
That
stimulation
before,
for
yeah,
learning.
the negative one.
But the positive stimulation, there's movement, right?
We need movement.
And then if we go to the next point in negative stimulation, the information is irrelevant to them, to the children. On the other side of things, positive stimulation, there's some personal interest. If we go to the next point, negative stimulation, it is repetitive. So short-term memory. What do we mean there by short-term memory, Naomi?
Yeah, if it is repetitive and boring, you remember just for during 24 hours, 48 hours, just for the exam. And then you spit out your exam and then you forget everything. That's why most of, at least my generation, we don't remember that much from school because it was based on short-term memory and it didn't have a long-last effect on our life. And this is exactly what we don't want.
On the other side of things, what we do want, we want some novelty, you know, in the learning. And rather than just studying through memorization just to remember for the exam, we want like genuine achievement. What does that mean, that positive stimulation achievement, Naomi?
Like I have the satisfaction to do something. This is the dopamine, actually, dopamine neurotransmitter. I have the satisfaction. I wanted to do a project in chemistry. I want to do a project in physics. And then I have the joy of achieving my project, of achieving my whatever I wanted to learn, or the experiment I wanted to do. And this is very exciting. And then you want to know more and you learn much better, long-term memory, fun, and you are creative and you find solution. And then if you put teamwork on the top of that, you know how to work with everybody and you are prepared for real life and you are prepared to co-create a new society with new paradigms. All that. Yeah.
And then if we look at the last points there on negative stimulation, so there's it's not pleasant. The learning process isn't fun. There's no intrinsic reward. On the other side of things, positive stimulation, there is intrinsic reward. Negative stimulation, no joy, no fun, no ludic intelligence. So the ability to be playful, to play with things. Positive stimulation, there's humor, there's playfulness in the learning experience. And the last one there, negative stimulation for learning, we're only using one sense, like monosensory, right?
Yes.
But positive stimulation.
Is proved. If you use all the senses, you learn much better, much faster, and with more fun. It's obvious. It's almost mathematical. Dave, I want to go back to the reward. If there is no intrinsic reward, if it is not pleasant, there is no inner satisfaction or intrinsic satisfaction. So you have to create an artificial motivation. Be the first of your class, be successful, have a candy. That's artificial. When you have the interesting reward, you want to go again and again and learn more and more and do more things naturally. And this is dignity for a human being as well. This is what I like about that.
Yeah. So pretty distinct contrast there between negative stimulation for learning and positive stimulation for learning.
And it's a way of living, because then after you grow up and you want always a artificial reward, you want a promotion, you want more money, you want this, you want that, because you were trained to that during the school, your
The school
schooling,
years. Your
school
schooling.
years. And this is not really what we want for human being. We want more than that. You want consciousness, we want dignity, we want, like, yourself, you decide to help your society, not because you have a fake reward, and you are like manipulated a little bit with that. So this is a big shift into education, from boring and obeying all the time without thinking too much. We are the one who are co-creator, co-actor, consciousness. You know what you are doing and you enjoy it. This is a huge, tremendous shift, not only for a human being, for the whole society, I would say, and for the next humanity. That's why I love what I do. Two books. This is
Yeah.
funny because this is our own books. Actually, they are in English, and we can find them in our website, Educatiooon 3000.info. Always 30, education with 30 to show there is a difference. One is about doctors, so we made a compilation of the scientific contribution about the physiological, psycho-emotional, emotional, and neurological changes of children and the education they need. So this is the website, and the other one is called The Education of the Future Now, and it's a nice summary.
And also these links as well. So to our website, they're all below in the description, so you can check those out. You don't have to memorize them or write them down necessarily. Just a click or a copy and paste below in the description.
And it's free, and please share with your friend. We go back to the fourth brain because this is so important. I know we saw it in a previous video. Do you want to explain to us what's the difference between A and B?
Exactly. So we can see some images here where the frontal lobe is not really activated. So in A, there's only a discrete activation of the brain in a task with little motivation, and the frontal lobes there at the front, we can see there's not much going on there. And
Yeah.
then we look at the second example where there's the same task but with a high degree of motivation. We can see the entire brain, there's more activity, especially in the frontal lobe as well, a lot more activation. So at the bottom there, motivation, laughter, projects, and humanitarian service. Do you want to expand a little bit on that, Naomi, and explain that for us,
Yes,
please?
some people ask, but how can we activate or develop more the fourth brain? And it's quite easy. We need a lot of motivation. We need a good sense of humor. It's proved now by medicals. If you laugh and you have a good sense of humor, automatically your front lobe are more activated. They did that in a hospital in the state, and the patient that will laugh and understand all the jokes, they notice their front lobe were more activated. So it's proof now. To be able to do project, to do something, and humanitarian service. If you have the sense of altruism, if you want to help humanity, automatically this front lobe as well would go to the next step of evolution, which is the collective intelligence and understand what you do to others is for you and it's a common good. So it's not that complicated either, actually. And if you have the notion of service, I mean, helping others and helping the community and helping the neighborhood, for instance, you can start from school. I know some schools, they start from very early age. And those kids, they are flying. They are very, 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 not only bright, but human. They are bright, but with this human side, with this empathy, and they know how to do things. It's beautiful. And you see the energy around the brain. This is very low, and this is much higher. Can you see this thick
Yeah, that's
layer?
an
This
interesting
is
contrast there.
electromagnetic field. Good. Lateral thinking.
Yeah, so to find many solutions, and we've got an example here, Edward de Bono. So 1933 in Malta, he coined the term lateral thinking in his book, The Use of Lateral Thinking, and Lateral Thinking, another book.
And I would say this is the next step to critical thinking. Critical thinking is okay, it's good to have criteria, but not only to criticize, to find
To have what,
solution.
sorry, Naomi? So it's good to have what? Just to go back to
The
what you said, like
the next
opposing
step
point of
to
views, opposing thoughts, or
that lateral thinking is more important than the critical thinking.
yeah. So those, I didn't understand that last part.
Critical thinking. Critical thinking, you criticize, you can have a good criteria, you can analyze, but it's not enough. I prefer to jump into lateral thinking because then you find solution and you execute the solution. So I would say it's a next step, and it's good for children and young people to be able to use this lateral thinking for that, to find the solution, and as well because they have more um, it's called multifaceted. When they do something, they can see all the consequences and see all the angles of something and all the consequences of a project or something they want to do.
Yeah. So after those books were published, De Bono developed the concept of 6 thinking hats in 1985. And this concept facilitates the analysis and resolution of problems from different perspectives. What are some of the perspectives, Naomi?
Yeah, you have the process of fact, feelings, creativity, benefit, cautions. Like you have the capacity to see all the facets of um, a problem or something you have to do. And this is linked as well to multiple approach and multiple intelligence and multiple solutions. And this is what we want.
So, Naomi,
And by the way, this is not new. I mean, both lateral thinking and the concept of all those arts and all that is quite old, but it's still very much needed in education, more than ever. So thank you to Edouard de Bono.
and just going on to the next point, Naomi, why did the children of today, today's boys and girls, why do they need an EPA, positive stimulation circuit for learning?
Because this is exactly the way they learn. I mean, it will match the characteristic of the children of today and tomorrow. Like, remember we saw that in the previous video, but the metabolism is fast, hyperesthesia, all the senses are developed, the different neurology, the right hemisphere, the alpha waves, the fourth brain, the lateral thinking. We saw that in our stats, multiple intelligence, emotional intelligence, and self-development and strong personality. If you have a strong personality, you don't want to be taught all the step and all the details in your education. You want bigger challenge, you see, and creativity and the kind of a freedom as well. So all your creativity can blossom and spur up. Spur up. I mean,
Yep,
despegar.
sprout up and grow.
Yes. So this is exactly this kind of education, the information of neuroscience, and the kids of today, they match, completely match together. And this will end up with a much better society as well. I put this example. I know you are a musician, it was for you. For instance, it's called SSA, supra-selective attention. Because sometimes they say, oh no, those kids, they have a lack of attention or a deficit, but it's not true. Usually supra, but selective attention. For instance, this guy, and I recommend you see the videos of Lydian Na Dash Waram. He's from India. He won many prizes already. He's very young. And sometimes he can play the piano two pianos at the same time. Do you want to see the picture? This one. And he can
Yeah.
play. He's extremely talented. This is multifaceted, multi-talented, and multitask. Is a proof they are very good.
Yeah, so maybe his maybe piano teachers wouldn't tell their students to play like this, but for this kid, obviously it's something's clearly working, right? He's been
Yes,
quite
yes,
successful
yes,
with
yes.
his own method of playing.
And it's fun. You should see the bright smile of Lydian. Please check YouTube. So let's make a quick summary. So what we see in them, how do they learn?
Yeah, so the children of today learn in multiple ways, multiple intelligences, multitasking, multi-simultaneous attention,
Correct.
emotional intelligence, motivation, movement, technology, by doing, an important point, traveling, nature, art, and exploring, another very important point in our education.
Yeah. Let them discover. And then when I say by doing, it's by doing and teaching. Let children teach to other children, or young people teaching to children, or young people teaching each other. There is a new topic now I saw in China. It's called self math. So they learn mathematics by themselves. I saw it in Russia as well. So doing and teaching. This is key in the new pedagogical ways of teaching nowadays. Doing and teach. I mean, let them teach. We don't teach. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. The teacher doesn't have to necessarily do everything. Maybe one of the or some of the children understand the concept and are able to pass that on, perhaps in a more effective way as well to their fellow classmates.
And they feel good. It's good for self-esteem as well because, oh, I can explain. And the other one feels good too because it's explained in their own words and with their own feelings. So it matches very well. It works very well. And as a teacher, as a parent, you just relax and enjoy it. And of course, a
A
lot
lot of
of
love, right?
a lot of love. Love will cure everything and give the energy. And this is the new gasoline.
Yeah, so again, like we say at the end of every video, we've got YouTube, website, Facebook. You can contact us as well via email. All of these links are below in the description. So check them out and feel free to get in contact. Or like we've discussed before, there are a lot of free resources that we've got for you if you'd like to check them out.
And thank you so much.
Thanks, Naomi. Again, a very interesting video. Our next video in the P3000 co-recreate
We go
education.
to the 8. Oh, it's a nice one. It's called ERR brain. It's a new concept of the integral brain. And we have to understand now it's not only this. It's called integral brain.
Nice.
And
So I'll see you in the next video,
yes.
Naomi.
Perfect.
Again,
thank you
a
so
lot
much.
of information. Thank you, Naomi, and thanks
Thank you,
everybody.
Dave, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for changing education all around the world this time. Bye-bye, everybody. See you soon.